Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, we definitely have to discuss Ryan Garcia crashing out on Shakur Stevenson for what he had to say on an interview with Complex Sports. Bringing up drug testing in order to fight Ryan Garcia. My goodness. And also, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia going back and forth on Twitter. I got the tweets for you. Like always, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go through these. And then I'm going to give you guys my opinion on what should happen next. So, just in case y'all didn't see, Ryan Garcia react to Shakur Stevenson saying that in order to fight against Ryan Garcia, I want to have the same stipulations that Devin Haney and Bill Haney wanted, which was drug testing before training camp even started. Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all haven't seen that clip, check it out.
Just interviewed Shakur like an hour ago, and I asked him about whether he would want to box you or not, and he said yes, but he really wanted you to submit to testing.
Yeah, I would love to fight Ryan Garcia. Only thing that I'll say, I seen that Bill and Devin wanted him to do like a certain testing outside of camp, and I think that is something that should be mandatory if we fight too.
That was his biggest thing.
Is he stupid? Like, I'm so tired of him, bro. I've been testing even way before Haney. These guys are delusional. You understand how scared and terrified they are of me? Every other guy, they don't claim that on, but guess what? I have been testing. I test all the time. He's a freaking idiot. I didn't want to say the F word. Freaking's a little better. He's an idiot. Devin Haney's an idiot. All those guys are idiots. They're just terrified of me. They see my last performance at Barrios, and all of a sudden I'm doing steroids again. Bro, shut the fuck up. I've been training since I was 7 years old. I've been boxing. You guys seen me come up the whole time. I've been hurting people since I was 11, 10. I knocked out a grown man at 12. Like, what are you talking about? Damn near give me a bear. I'll beat that. Like, bro, they're pissing me off because they know they're lying. They're bull.
So the man is pissed. That's Ryan Garcia reacting to now what Shakur Stevenson is requesting. Of course, he's been doing this, tagging along with Devin Haney. Even though this didn't happen to Shakur Stevenson, he's requesting what Devin Haney wants due to what happened with Devin Haney on April 20th of 2024, ladies and gentlemen. You had Devin Haney face Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia beats this man. Not only does it beat him, but drops him numerous amount of times, multiple times, and some would say absolutely just shocked the world. A big underdog. I believe he was like a plus 600, 650 going into that fight. But embarrassed Devin Haney. Now, y'all know Devin Haney and his father did not like this. Went as far as going to the law. And having literally that loss turn into a no contest. So if you look at his record right now, Devin Haney is still undefeated technically. But Ryan Garcia in that fight, let's give Devin Haney the benefit of the doubt, missed weight by 3 pounds. 3 pounds, ladies and gentlemen, in the world championship fight. And not only does he miss weight by 3 pounds, but fails a pre-day, the day before the fight, drug test, random drug test, and also the night of, when he beat Devin Haney that same night, that drug test, he failed that drug test. That's 2 failed drug tests. And another sample that they had to send to the New York State Athletic Commission to test, that also failed, ladies and gentlemen, for Austrian. So that's why Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson have this thing now. Like, hey, we ain't going to fight you, Ryan, unless you go on drug testing because you got caught with drugs in your system. Austrian, if it's not a drug, whatever you want to call it. You've heard one side of the field say it helps, this and that. You've had Joe Rogan in the other side of the field say that, come on, dude, it doesn't really do nothing. It was that left hand. It was the skills of Ryan Garcia, the speed, the left hook, everything. You have 2 sides here, ladies and gentlemen. But Let's continue. So Ryan Garcia reacts like that, and Devin Haney decides to retweet a video of Ryan Garcia and puts him going off and puts doing steroids again with question marks. And y'all know Ryan Garcia was definitely going to react to this. He says, doing steroids again. And Ryan Garcia tweets and says, again, he's an idiot, just like his dad. I said, all of a sudden I'm doing steroids again, meaning I'm implying that you are assuming I did steroids again. I'm sorry. You are a fucking dumbass. You can't tell when I'm being sarcastic. Every day you show you are a bitch. LOL. Then I go over to see what Devin Haney had to say. He reposts what somebody else says. Locked in Daily reacts to what Ryan Garcia says. And he says, Ryan is a WBC champion. The WBC forces year-round testing on all their champions. Devin Haney retweets that and says, I was a WBC champion for years and never been tested once. What? What? Ladies and gentlemen. And then retweets again what some random dude had to say, Danny, and says, VADA is the strictest testing agency out. Fighters, promoters, pay out of pocket. The WBC testing is random since the governing body pays for it. So he's saying, because Devin Haney is signed under 365 24/7 VADA program, the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association program. He signed to it, bro, literally. Is he still the only boxer that's currently doing that? There might be a few now. But he is implying here that the WBC isn't as strict as their drug testing as VADA is, because the WBC has to pay out of their pocket to go and do these drug testings, these random drug testings that they're supposed to do. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Garcia responds to that and says, he responds to what Devin Haney had to say and says, again, you are an idiot. And now you are pissing me off. I just got tested yesterday. Yesterday? Bruh. He said, I just got tested yesterday. Either you shut up or I'm going to do Haney. Or I'm going to do a Haney and send you a cease and desist letter. Oh, involving attorneys, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know Devin Haney and his dad. Oh, my goodness. And Devin Haney responds to what Ryan Garcia says and says, cheater, cheater, PED, user. The classic cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater replaces it with a PED user. Then, that ends the end of that. Ryan doesn't respond. I go to look at Instagram, and I see Ryan Garcia post this. A picture of a little baby. Devin Haney with Ryan Garcia. And he says, he will always be a loser. Ladies and gentlemen, this all just went down, what is it, from the time that I posted this video, maybe 5 or 6 hours ago. But Ryan Garcia is pissed off at the fact that Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson now are requesting drug testing, the same type of drug testing. Keep in mind, whatever drug testing that Ryan Garcia has to undergo, if Shakur Stevenson were to fight Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson would have to undergo the exact same drug testing. Devin Haney is already enrolled in the 365 24/7 Voluntary Anti-Doping Association drug program. Now, as for the failed drug tests themselves, ladies and gentlemen, there's so many conspiracy theories around it. You can say Devin Haney had connections with Victor Conte, this and that. Maybe they tampered, who knows? You can say it's kind of weird that Devin Haney's little brother, Sean Haney, had 2 different stories for how he predicted that Ryan Garcia was going to fail his drug test 2 weeks prior to the fight, predicts. He says in a different interview, he says in one interview, he says, while I was praying, Shalom, his God, whoever his God is, told him that this was going to happen. But then in another interview, he says that he had this in a dream. So, you see little imperfections in the story of Devin Haney's little brother, and it makes you think, so you got that side, and then you've got the Devin Haney side that say Ryan Garcia is a drug cheat, that he did know, that he made a bunch of excuses up. Try to blame it on the supplement factory when they came out and proved that it wasn't them, ladies and gentlemen. For those that don't know that. Made a bunch of excuses up. For those that say, even if he didn't know, at the end of the day, it was in the system. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what my opinion is. I don't think Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, and Ryan Garcia are going to fight anytime soon because I don't see Ryan Garcia undergoing this drug testing. For what reasons? I don't know. I would definitely like to hear the conspiracy theories in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Is Ryan Garcia a drug test? Hey, let me know in the comments. And I say to myself, if that's the case, Ryan Garcia just doesn't want to do this drug testing. It doesn't seem like these fights are going to happen. Do I feel like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson are in the wrong here? Shakur, I mean, he's kind of following in the footsteps of Devin Haney here. So I don't know what's up with him, bro. I mean, he's just out here asking for requests for everything. The dude's all over the place. But Devin Haney is the man who actually got wronged by Ryan Garcia. And I always said this, bro. I always said this. As long as Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia undergo the same type of drug testing, I feel that Ryan Garcia should just have nothing to hide. If you've got nothing to hide, why not undergo the same drug testing that your competitors are going to have to go through? Why not? Is there a specific reason, or is it because maybe you feel like you're going to be over-tested? Maybe you feel like they're going to tamper with, maybe you feel like Devin Haney has some type of relationship with Vada. Maybe there's a bunch of conspiracy theories around it. What is keeping Ryan Garcia from just obliging and just doing it? I feel because this happened to Devin Haney, that Devin Haney is not in the wrong here to be asking for this, bro. You cheated once before, and maybe you may not be a cheater now. Who knows? But I want to make sure, because you cheated me before, that you don't cheat me again in the next fight. So that's why I'm asking for this request. I feel like Ryan Garcia should understand, even if he says that he didn't know it was in the system, even if it feels like they tamper with his stuff, it is a failed drug test. Ladies and it's a failed drug test. So that being said, you should have to own up to it. Just own up to it and say, hey, I did not know it was in my, it was in your system, bro. It was in your system. Right? Unless you're one of those conspiracy theorists that says that believe that they tampered with his pee, with his urine. But my opinion is, I believe it was in the system, whether or not you did it on purpose, Ryan. Okay, if you didn't do it on purpose, then it's not your fault. You're not wrong. Nothing's wrong, right? This was an accident. But it happened. And now you have to understand that sometimes there's consequences and things like happen, and sometimes they don't go your way. They don't lean in your favor, but you've got to own up to them. I always said that I felt like Ryan Garcia should do these drug tests and just understand and get this fight done and over with, ladies and gentlemen. But we all have different opinions when it comes to the sport of boxing. I want you guys to let me know how you feel about this whole subject, bro. How do you feel? What should Devin Haney do? What should Ryan Garcia do? Who's in the wrong here? You see Shakur react. You see Ryan Garcia react the way that he did to Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. You seen Devin Haney go back and forth to Ryan Garcia on Twitter. And I said, my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely got to talk about this. I don't know if these fights are ever gonna happen, bro. That drug testing thing is getting in the way like Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. back in the days, man. My goodness. My goodness. Let me know what you guys think, though. I'm out.